everybody. Oh gosh. Should have cleared my throat before I started that. Hello everybody. Welcome in. Hi Jill. Hi Mum. It's lovely to see people dropping into the chat before we even fully go live. That's so exciting to see everybody here. I'm just washing up, but then I'll be reading. How lovely. Have you finished that book that we were talking about last time, Jill? Or are you still on the same one? I finished my book. I finished To the Lighthouse, and the next episode of 100 Books Over 100 Years To the Lighthouse video is coming this week. Hi Ellie, hi Garth, how's everybody doing? So nice to see everybody popping in. How's everybody's week's been? Have you had a good one so far? It's miserable in West Yorkshire today. It's just been grey for the last 3 days. It's just been grey. And look at me, I'm in a jumper. We're in May and I'm wearing a jumper. It's very cold. So, yeah. I've still got my flip-flops on though. Enjoyed the bank holiday here. No rain for the first time in ages. Oh, yeah. I think it actually did rain here for the first time in a couple of weeks. But, yeah. It's always nice when you've got a nice sunny or at least clear bank holiday weekend. It just feels like all the stars align, don't they? We've moved to the new house over the weekend, having a day off from it all. Oh, I'm so glad. I hope it all went really smoothly. I know what it can be like on moving when it's all a bit stressful, isn't it? And things happen like all at once. And yeah, it can just be really overwhelming. So how are you feeling? Have you settled into the new place yet? Are you feeling a little homesick for your old home? I know that Tom and I did when we moved into this house. I remember we had a really stressful day moving in, and it got to about 8-9 o'clock at night, and we both went, I just want to go home. Because this didn't feel like home. It felt like an Airbnb that we were staying in, and when you've had a really stressful day, you just want to be at home and you want to be comfortable. And I remember saying to Tom, I just kind of want to go home, and he was like, I do as well. Obviously we settled in, but I know what it's like. It's very stressful. Hi Kelly, how are you doing? I'm still on Catherine. I'll soon be finished. Also the names, wow, this is quite a read. I'm definitely going to read the names at some point, Jill. I have got a lot of books to get through over the next few weeks, so it won't be anytime soon. But yeah, maybe towards the end of the summer I might pick it up. I was still technically in the old house till the end of May, but it's really just stuff we need to live with here now. Do you know what? That's such the best way to do it, is to be, if you can move like from one to the other but have like an overlap period. That's such a privilege to be able to do that, because it's like you can move things slowly, whereas the way that we've always done it, and I think it's the way when you kind of like you're selling one to be able to buy the next, is you have to sell, you have to move out, and then for a period of time on that day you are in effect homeless until the next sale goes through, and it's quite a very stressful time period. So we've often said before, if we had the ability to be able to move out, go somewhere else, and then move in like a couple of days later, that would always be kind of like the preferred thing to do. It's just easier that way. I still need to sort the loft and the garden, bin and throwing stuff out, which isn't going to be a light job. Yeah, I can imagine, especially with garden stuff. I feel like with the loft, at least, if it's like home goods, you can put it in big bags and just take it to the charity shop. But I don't know, something about emptying garden stuff, like, it's just hard to get rid of, isn't it? You can't take like old tools and garden stuff to the tip. Well, you can take it to the tip, but you can't take it to the charity shop. It's chilly here again too, but sunny at least. Oh, I'm glad you've had some sun. We have not. It's chilly again, so I'm a bit worried actually about a lot of my little plants that I've grown. I don't know if you watched one of the videos that I did recently where I showed you the little plants that I'd been growing. First of all, Stanley decimated half of them. Stanley ate half of my plant babies that I'd like carefully tended. He ate all my sweet corn. I was so proud of my sweet corn. He ate all my sweet corn. He ate a load of carrot tops. He ate half a green bean plant and more or less completely murdered a cucumber plant. So yeah, but I'm getting a bit worried about them, because obviously without the sun at this point, they're at that kind of pivotal mid-growth point where they need a real good influx of sun and heat and water to be able to make them robust enough to go outside. So a bit worried about my plant babies. It's been so much easier than previously where I have very tight deadlines. Yeah, it's tight deadlines that are really, really hard. Refuse centres are almost impossible to book into at this time of the year. Oh really? Do you have to book into them? That's crazy. I mean, up here in West Yorkshire, you can go at any point, but obviously that sometimes you go and there's like massive queues. Hiya, Mel. You all right, love? What are you doing this evening? Are you making dinner throughout the live stream? And if so, let's have some tea time chats. What are you having for your dinner? Let us know. I just had a jacket potato for my dinner. I have to say, I got those, those McCain, like kind of part cooked jacket potatoes that are frozen. You put them in the air fryer. I'm not going to buy them again. Do not recommend. But I had one of those with some tuna mayo and some cheese. Absolutely scandalised Tom, who does not believe in putting tuna mayo on a jacket potato, but there you go. You have to book a slot and specify what you want to bring. There's restrictions on how much you can take and what vehicle you can bring in. That is total madness. I mean, you are restricted in what vehicle you can bring in Huddersfield. You have to register your car and register your number plate to be able to go in, but not that they ever stop you. Watching Waitress the musical in bed, had salmon for tea. Super tired after a long day, so having a chill day leaving. Oh, bless you. Wish I had Chinese every week. That's the dream. Yeah. Honestly, Chinese takeout Tuesday in our house. Yeah, I would do that. If I could do that and not put on masses of weight, because any food like that just instantly, my body just gains weight so fast, I would have a Chinese every single week. 100%. Kelly had a jacket potato as well. Put them in a microwave for 10 and then in the air fryer. Now, we don't have a microwave. I know, everybody finds this absolutely bonkers when they find out that we don't have a microwave. Tom doesn't agree with microwaves. Well, it's not that he doesn't agree, it's just like we don't use it. We wouldn't use a microwave very often, so we just don't have one. But it's at times like this when I wish we did. Jacket with coleslaw, went out for lunch and had mules. Oh, you had mules marinara. Oh, where did you go for those, Mum? West Yorkshire is like one of the most landlocked areas of the UK. And you had mules marinara. We have so much on a Tuesday that we just always get a Chinese. Oh, that is the dream. You're literally living the dream, honestly. Yeah, I couldn't live without my microwave. Porridge would take an age every day. Do you know, I thought that as well, but I have porridge. I just have it on the hob and I just put my milk and water and my porridge oats in. It doesn't take that long. But then again, I don't like boil my porridge for a really long time. I like the oats to be quite chewy still. I hope the blacksmiths in Kirkeaton. Wow. Okay, well, if they were they good? I assume they were good. Me and Tom might have to check it out. I tried to live without my microwave once I got it back in 2 weeks. Is that like the time, Mel, when you tried to give up chocolate and we had to break the ban on chocolate for you because you were that unbearable to live with? We were like, please eat chocolate. Please go back to eating chocolate and be nice again. My friend Matt Wall, also a writer on here now, were talking about the controversy around not owning a microwave or a TV only the other day. I don't get how people don't own a TV. I'm not judging people for that, but like I couldn't live without a TV. And I don't watch normal TV. I don't watch like terrestrial TV anymore. I stream. We watch streaming services but even just like for playing games, like me and Tom are big gamers, so playing Xbox and stuff, you need TV. But then again, I guess the people who don't own a TV probably don't really game either. But yeah, what do people do all day without a TV to stream or watch DVDs or play things? Board games, jigsaws. It's funny enough, I've got a friend who I don't think they have a TV at their home, and they just do stuff. They just craft and do loads of different stuff, knit, yeah, and read books. I mean, she's got 2 young children, both are under 10, and they spent their every evening for I think about a month reading Lord of the Rings together as a family, which, to be fair, sounds really cute. And so yeah, I think I kind of admire when people can live without technology like that. I just know that I can't, but I do kind of admire people who can, because it's like it's a real analogue way of living, isn't it? That's a big thing at the moment. It's a big buzzword, isn't it? Analogue. People are trying to go analogue again. Far too intellectual. I wrote to the Queen asking how many TVs she had in the palace. She did as well. I don't think, did you get a response? Wrote to the Queen asking how many TVs she had in the palace when I was in high school. That's so funny. In high school as well. I could understand if that was in primary school, but in high school, Melissa. I love the romanticism not having a TV, but the relative, I love movies. Yeah. I'd like to live less on my phone sometimes, but also, like, for me, they say you shouldn't watch YouTube at night. I watch a lot of YouTube in bed at night, but I watch ambient videos. I watch content creators that don't really speak that much. So one of the biggest creators that I watch is Martin Dooleyard. I don't know if anyone else, I'm butchering that name because he's Dutch, but that's how I pronounce it, being Yorkshire. I've watched him since I think like episode 2 or episode 3 of his series. He's on like episode 300 or something now, but he lives in the Italian Alps, and he bought an old farmer's cottage in the Italian Alps. He's renovating it, but he's doing really slow living. So even though he has a camera, obviously, that he films with, you never see any technology. That's not true, actually. He does have a laptop that you see him. He will work on his laptop because he's a graphic designer, a remote graphic designer, but a lot of his content is really kind of analog style. It's very slow living, but he doesn't talk on his videos. He'll do a little bit like maybe at the beginning or the end, just kind of updating on what he's been up to. But other than that, his videos are just quiet, and it's so amazing. I love it. So that's kind of what I watch. So I don't find YouTube overstimulating when I'm in bed at night. I actually find it really relaxes me. So yeah, she wrote back her secretary. Do you know what's something really funny? I'm sure a lot of people know the game Trivial Pursuit. Tom's mum and dad used to have an old version of Trivial Pursuit. Probably it was like the 80s or the 90s version or something like that. And one of the cards on Trivial Pursuit was, who picks up if you ring this number? And we got the card one day when we were playing Trivial Pursuit, and we rang the number, and it was the Buckingham Palace switchboard. And we were like, and it was like, hello, Buckingham Palace switchboard, who can I direct it to? And we were like, oh gosh, sorry, we're playing a game of Trivial Pursuit. And he was like, you would not believe how many times people ring up with that. I was like, how rude that Trivial Pursuit just printed the number for the Buckingham Palace switchboard onto a card. Absolutely mad. Bonkers. I've been watching Middlemarch on iPlayer. It was amazing. Now I need to read the book. Oh, it's so good. I think BBC's The Other Bennett Sister is going to see a bit of a resurgence of everyone rewatching those 90s and early noughties BBC period dramas. Hope the Queen said she has only one TV. Didn't answer the TV. How could she not answer the TV question when you specifically asked that question? That's rude. We did get a console till my husband moved in. I'm glad that we did, as too many of my kids' classmates couldn't sit with the book. Had to have a device. Yeah, it's so important. I think for kids especially, I really admire, I totally understand sometimes you just need to sit your kid in front of an iPad and get a bit of quiet time and just some time for yourself. And I also really admire parents that do their absolute best to really limit that and balance that, because it is so important for children to have a full range of skills, not just doing everything digitally. Just googled, honestly, Ellie, if you like kind of homesteading, quiet, ambient, it's beautiful. Martin Dooleyard's stuff is beautifully shot. It's so cinematic, and he puts beautiful music over. I highly recommend watching his videos. You'd have like 300 to look back on as well. Oh, I actually envy somebody who finds Martin Dooleyard's content now and can binge it from the beginning, because it's just so beautiful. Finally watched Wuthering Heights yesterday, the Margot Robbie version. Really enjoyed it, Mel. Okay. I didn't, but that's fine. Everybody's for themselves. Podcasts on a night, a good idea. You see, I would find podcasts more stimulating, not less. Yeah. Loved Wuthering Heights. Mum loved Wuthering Heights as well. Those videos sound amazing. I need to find more like that for when I'm pottering. I think I exhausted the Tudor documentaries on here now. Yeah. Honestly, Martin Dooleyard I watch. Who else do I watch? Plan D. She's a Korean creator, and it's more food based. She kind of like day in her life, she'll be at home. She does a lot of cooking, Korean cooking, but again, very ambient, not much talking. And the other person is Rosie. What's her name? Oh gosh, what is her name now? Oh god, I'll have to find it on the break. Rosie something. She lives in Sweden, and she bought a chalet, like a Swedish log cabin, and has been renovating it as well. And again, that's very kind of quiet, ambient content as well. Lene, hey, how are you doing? Good evening. How have you been? How's work been, life been the last few days? Trivial Pursuit docks the palace? Yeah, really did. Oh, goodness me. Right, Traps Salt and Burn, please remind me of your name. I'm so sorry. I have been, I did that whole thing of one of the live streams ago asking everybody of their preferred name, and I didn't make a note anywhere of what everybody's preferred names were. So I'm asking people again, and if you give me permission to, I will make a note of your name so that I can properly address you. And if you're happy with me calling you Traps or Burn or whatever, just let me know. I just wanted to say that again because my memory is just terrible. Hi Alyssa, how are you doing? How's everything going on your side of the pond? What are you up to today? So it's afternoon for you, isn't it? So what have you been up to? Is it lunchtime? About lunchtime for you now? Podcast, you need the right voice. Susanna Lipscomb, Dan Jones are my go-tos. Yeah, I do love a podcast. I really love a podcast. Raven! Sorry, look, yeah, of course it's Raven. Do you know, this is what I mean. My brain is just... It's so hard when I'm live streaming sometimes because I'm thinking about what I'm saying. I'm observing the live stream. I'm trying to keep on top of the chat. I'm making sure that the recording's still going. And my brain... So I'm sorry, I'm not being disrespectful. I promise you, I'm not being disrespectful. I'm not being... thoughtless. It's just sometimes trying to manage all of these different things at the same time. I probably need a mod or somebody who has got a really good memory, who can welcome people in and call them by name, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, hi, write it down then. Yeah, I am that's what I'm saying, that's why I'm asking again, and having bits written down. I do have a list when people give me permission to. No apologies needed. Feel free to note it down. Thank you, Raven. Let me have a look at my list. Yes, I've got it here. I've got it here for next time. And yeah, I'll make a note of that. Doing all right here. Still writing essays. I see Stanley has indeed put you off. He has. Of course he has. Stanley gives absolutely zero anythings, but we have got the old dreamy bag, so we can try. I won't shake it now because it'll sound really loudly, but when we get started, I will try to shake the dreamy bag and see if we can get him to come down, but it's just terrible. It's like he knows. Honestly, every single week, whenever the live stream finishes at 9:00, he'll come and get in the bed. It's like he knows that the camera's switched off. We had new neighbours moving on Friday, and I was so glad they didn't ask me the names of the other people that lived nearby. Introduced ourselves once a few years ago, and I cannot name anyone. I know. Do you know, I had a friend when I was at sixth form college, and I asked him about 3 or 4 times what his name was, like when we were first meeting him. And it got to the point that I couldn't then remember his name. And so for like 2 years, I had to avoid introducing him to anybody. And I was like, I felt really bad. Like, how could I not know the guy? When I say friend, it wasn't like a close friend. He was like a college acquaintance. You know, someone who like you occasionally will sit with at lunch, and you might be in a couple of classes with, but you don't. That was my chair. That's my chair. That's not me. I promise you. I'm going to get a new chair. I've got one in my Amazon basket. I'm waiting to buy it. Yeah, it got to the point that I just couldn't ask his name. I felt so bad. Melissa, that's the best way to be with neighbours. Have you though, LA? Tell me, have you given them your own names? Because Tom and I make inventive names up for our neighbours, even the neighbours that we know. They all have names that relate to their houses. British Gas House. Husband works for British Gas. Exactly. Defo. I definitely didn't, Melissa. It is my chair. We have nicknames for our neighbours, yeah. Yeah, exactly. We used to live at somewhere called the Marmerville, and that place we had Yoga Cath, Crazy Cat Lady, but I feel like everybody's got a Crazy Cat Lady, and oh god, I can't remember all the others. We had like everybody had a different name, but I remember Yoga Cath, and yeah, Crazy Cat Lady. So yeah, crikey, how are we almost on 7:20 already? Shall we have our first session? Let's go into the first session. And I'm writing today because I've told you all this before, but I'm part of a writing group, and this No, not this coming Saturday, the following Saturday, I've got to present my work again. It's my turn again to present my work. So I'm trying to get a few scenes written and updating on the novel so that I can present the next part of it in my group. So let me know what you're all going to be getting up to. Pop it in the chat, and we'll get into our first session in a second once it tips over to 20 past. Melissa, you'll be very happy to know we're going with the same soundtrack music that we had last week, so you can listen to it again. And yeah, we'll do that. We'll have his first session, and then we'll come back and we'll have a lovely little chat again. So yeah, let me know what you're all getting up to, and feel free to keep chatting away in the chat, and let's start the first session. Right. How's that first session for everybody? Stanley's here. His little bed. I'm going to try and talk a little bit quieter because I don't want to disturb him while he's sleeping. Because I suspect that's probably why he doesn't usually stick around that often. Because I'm probably talking too much for him. What's going on here? I've got a crazy piece of hair. To be completely honest, I am struggling a little bit with the scene that I'm writing. I talked about this a little bit last week. I'm writing a scene where my main character's sister has had her heart broken and the main character is trying to comfort her, trying to find out what's going on. And I can't remember who it was last week, but somebody had a really good bit of advice, which was basically write the scene, like describe what the conversation would be like instead of having every single bit of the conversation written out. So I was trying to do that. I was trying to review the scene the bits that I'd written last week to try and like jump bits of the conversation so that it's not like just a stream of text, which it's not anyway, but just trying to make it a bit more readable and not just almost script-like. But I'm finding it a bit tricky because the whole point of this scene is that the sister's boyfriend, for want of a better word, partner, has broken off the engagement because of the older sister's change in station. And so I need to think about, which bits of that conversation do I want written out in dialogue and which bits do I want described. You can also write it all out and then make it more concise in the edit if that helps. Yeah, I might do that, in the next writing session. I might just write it out as if I'm in the room listening to the conversation, and then I might go back in the third writing session that we have and see if I can just mess around with it a little bit and move it around a bit. So yeah, I might do that, but I was struggling a little bit. I think I only wrote probably about 3 or 4 lines. Well, I know I did write more than that, but maybe like a paragraph. I'm having some kind of issue with my computer. It's running really slowly today for some reason. I don't think it's affecting the live. I assume everybody's okay and can hear me, and it's broadcasting all right. But for some reason, it's making typing really slow. When you kind of like write a word and it pauses, and then it'll catch up all at once. I don't like that because it pulls me out of my focus on a sentence or what I'm saying if I'm trying to, wait for the computer to catch up with what I'm typing. So that's a little bit annoying. I don't really know why it's doing that. Oh God, he looks so cute. Look at his little face. Oh, he's so snuggly. I have to say, I look over at him because he sleeps in this little bed on my desk like all day. He'll be there all day every day when I'm working, and I have to say some days I really have to like just leave him because sometimes I'm like, oh, he's just so squishy. I just want to go over and cuddle him, but I don't. How did you get on, Raven, with your anthology draft? You saying you're doing the first editing pass? How's that going? It's cool that you've got the rough draft done. I always think that's the hardest bit. Certainly is for me, is getting a draft down. Funnily enough though, with creative writing, I think I find the edit harder. But with factual writing, I find edits a lot easier to go from something rather than going from nothing. Look at the beans. Can you see the toe beans? Yeah, what's everybody else been doing in the break? Have you been... Jill's been reading. Lainey, did you say you were studying? Are you doing uni work? I hate drafting, love editing. It's psychological horror of blank page. Yeah, do you know what? Like, I don't actually mind the writing. Like the blank page, if I know what I want to put onto the blank page, if that makes any sense at all. Like if I've got a plan and I know what I want that scene to be, I can do a blank page, no problem. But if I've got to a point where I'm like, I've come to a natural pause in the writing, and I don't know what's coming next. That's a huge hurdle for me. And I've talked before about listening to the Writer's Routine podcast. Really, really great podcast. And other writers, I can't even remember which writer it was now, talked about the fact that she never ever stops writing for the day at the end of a chapter. She'll always stop like mid-chapter, mid-scene, because she finds it so much easier to get back into writing the next day if she's in the middle of the scene. She knows exactly what's happening next. I think that's a really good idea. Hasn't worked for me tonight, but in general I think it's a good idea. The verb tense is driving me mildly mental. The bulk of the story is in past tense, but the flashbacks are in present tense, and that's been fun. God, yeah, that is fun. I with the first novel that I wrote, the Lighthouse one, which I abandoned, that was written in third person, and I decided halfway through that I wanted to change it into first person, and started, and I think I did a chapter of changing it round, and I was like, I cannot be bothered with that, absolutely not. So yeah, but this new novel that I'm writing is written in the first person. Watching Traitors from the beginning on series 3. I've not watched any of the Traitors. I must be one of the only people in the country that hasn't watched Traitors at all. Doing my reading for my final assignment for the year. What are you reading? Is it a textbook? Is it a... I don't know what you're studying, actually. Have you told me what you're studying? Your degree is? I don't know. Final assignment for the year. Yeah, I've got a friend actually who's been doing a degree part-time for a number of years now through the Open University. It's her last year this time. And I think of her when I hear people doing assignments and things, because she's so close to finishing now. Hi Diana, how are you doing? Joined in just before 7:30. I'm writing and hoping it's not sounding too teeny. If that makes sense. Young adult and adult fiction is quite overlapped now. Yeah. It must be. I've said this before. I know I've said this before on a live stream, but writing young adult fiction is so impressive. I think it is, because it's so hard to write for such a niche audience and get it right. I feel that I prefer working third person, but the story's first person suits the main character better. I realised that I like reading books in the first person. That's the kind of narrative that works for me. And I found that a lot of historical fiction books written with a female main character are written from the first person perspective. So that's why I decided to do it with the current book that I'm writing. Oh, you're doing the Open University too? A history degree. I should graduate the year after next part-time also. That's so impressive. A history degree as well. So cool. Are there any particular, like, what are the different historical time periods that you've covered? I mean, I know for a history degree they must do a lot of different periods, but presumably they have to choose which periods they're doing as well. So what have been your like studies? What are the different time periods that you studied, or the different eras that you studied? I did English at university, and obviously did English at A-level and English at high school. And at high school we did Shakespeare play for GCSE. We did Hamlet. And then I went to college, and in sixth form college we did a Shakespeare play, and it was Hamlet. I was like, well, that's fine, because I did it at GCSE, so I know what it is. Went to university, did English, had to do a Shakespeare play, did Hamlet. So I've only ever studied Hamlet. I've never studied another Shakespeare play, even though I did an English degree. Melissa managed to do... Did you do Romeo and Juliet and A Midsummer Night's Dream? And yeah, I did 3 lots of Hamlet, so I know Hamlet very, very well. I think I've said that before as well. I feel like I repeat myself, but when you live stream every single week, there's bound to be some overlaps in what I say. Love a first-person narrative. I finally watched Wuthering Heights yesterday evening. Sorry, not impressed. Ooh, Melissa. So Melissa, my sister, said earlier on, just in this live stream, Diana, that she just got around to watching Wuthering Heights and she really liked it. That's the beauty of Wuthering Heights, though, isn't it? That is exactly it. People love it and people hate it. Oh, sorry, I'm just going to take my earbuds out for a minute because they're hurting my ears. And I don't need them because I've got my mic in front of me. Yeah, I wasn't impressed, but, you know, some people absolutely loved it, which is fine. I don't know if anybody noticed as well in the last writing session, just as the writing session started, my entire chair just went vroom, and just dropped by like a good few inches. So I'm actually lower now in the video than I was when I started. So that's fun. I don't think anybody will have noticed, but I was sat here and it just went boom like that. And I giggled. If you want to go, you can always go back and have a look about just after we start the writing session. You'll just see me just slowly jump down. I'm actually in online college myself, bachelor's in English and creative writing with a focus on fiction. Just started an intro to STEM class. STEM's science, technology and engineering and mathematics. Is that right? I think I might have got that wrong. Bachelor's in English and creative writing. I kind of wish I'd done creative writing at uni. I don't think it was really... You didn't really do a degree in creative writing when I was at uni. Because I went from 2006 to 2009 and there weren't really that many creative writing classes, courses. And I went to Leicester University, so I just did English, but yeah. Oh, Diana's reading the Akatar books as an adult. Yeah. I don't think Akatar's young adult. Because what is young adult? What age group is young adult? Because I would have read young adult books as like a 14, 15-year-old. And yet I wouldn't want a 14 or a 15-year-old to be reading Akatar. I would say that, because of the explicit content here, I would say that's adult books. Sciencey tech stuff. I can't remember the acronym. No, I can never remember the acronym either, but yeah, it's sciencey stuff. Tom is an engineer, a research engineer, so he often talks about STEM and getting like the young generation into more STEM subjects. Yes. There were a couple of things I was going to mention in the live stream, and I can't remember what they are, so I'm just checking the stream is still working. I can't remember what they were. I did make a note last week. No, it's gone. It'll probably come back to me. I think Sarah J. Mass said she doesn't consider Akatar YA, but it was her publisher who put it as that because Throne of Glass is YA and New Adult isn't established to be enough to be a promotional tool. Yeah. New Adult, is that what it's called? Like if you're like 16 to 18 or whatever, or 16 to 20, is that what it's called? New Adult. Yeah, I've not read Throne of Glass. I've read Akatar, but I've not read Throne of Glass. I've also read the Fourth Wing books. Thought they were all okay. Obviously, none of them are like absolute groundbreaking literature, but I thought they were all right. I like the escapism of them. I like the fantasy. And who doesn't love a little bit of a spicy novel every now and again? But like, they're not going to absolutely break. They're not going to be on the list of classics. I don't know anyway, I don't think so. It depends. Our classics list's going to be put together based on sales 100 years from now, or will they be put on literary emphasis? Very interesting question. It's actually something that I covered a little bit in the video that will come out on Thursday, which is the 100 Books, 100 Years to the Lighthouse. So it's 1927, and I looked at To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf and talked about it. New Adult is 18 to 25. I won't say by 25 you're a new adult, but yeah, 18 to 20 or 16 to 20. Because you are considered an adult at 16, aren't you? I think. I don't know. Long time since I was 16. I would not go back to being 16 now. Would anyone else? Would anyone else go back to being like 16 now? I wouldn't. I'm so happy at 38. Yeah. Oh, look at Stenny doing his little snuggle. Oh, he's so cute. I hated Throne of Glass, but enjoyed Akatar. Not read any of the others, and honestly not read any of the TikTok books of recent years. I started reading a few TikTok recommended books because I was planning on doing a series where I was like, are TikTok books worth the hype? And to be honest, that many people then went on to do YouTube videos about TikTok books. I was just like, I don't see the point. I don't see the point of me making a video about TikTok books when there's already so many other opinions out there. So I stopped, but I read Yellowface by Rebecca... I've forgotten her last name. Yeah, I read Yellowface. I read What's the one with the man's face on it? The ecstasy picture. I read that one, the really long one. And I also read Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, which did the rounds on TikTok as well. But then again, TikTok kept showing me I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman, and that book is absolutely phenomenal. So I think it depends what side of TikTok you're on. Also, Lucy, oh gosh, what's her name? Lucy Rose, who wrote The Lamb. Again, I came across Lucy Rose on TikTok and she was talking about her upcoming book, The Lamb. Absolutely phenomenal. So again, I think it depends which side of TikTok you're on. I think there's the fantasy, romantasy, spicy book side of TikTok, and then there's kind of the more literary, traditional book side of TikTok as well. So keep in mind, new adult is an American thing. So 18's for adultish and 21 to drink. Ah, yes, that makes sense then, doesn't it? 18 to 25 then. Dear God, no, I love being 44. Exactly, Raven. Who wants to go back to being young, naive, not very confident? The older I get, the happier I get, to be honest. Thing with TikTok books is so many are by young, pretty privileged female authors whose family wealth has contributed to them getting a book deal. I know it's sweeping statement, it's becoming so prevalent, it really put me off. I think, there's an awful lot of privilege in the publishing industry of people who have various different advantages, life advantages, whether that is that they have generational wealth, whether they have, had an excellent career and had the privilege to have that excellent career, and therefore, in their mid-30s or 40s are able to take a step back from that career and start a writing career, or they have a partner that supports and therefore they are able to write. There's a lot of different things, and I think sometimes then those same writers will talk about or will try and kind of promote ways to become a writer that don't necessarily talk openly about the privilege that they've had themselves. It's very difficult, but I do think that, it's a very strange kind of new bookish world is TikTok, and I wouldn't say I'm not a fan of it. I believe that there is a space for TikTok. I mean, when I did my random act of kindness video and I went into Waterstones in Huddersfield and I was giving away vouchers for books at Waterstones, I was talking to the manager of Waterstones and she was saying that TikTok is hugely responsible for a lot of their sales that they're having at the moment. So many new writers, it's almost kind of helped bookshops to have this kind of resurgence of people wanting to buy books. So it's obviously a huge positive thing. But the flip side of it then again is that there's a lot of misinformation about the publishing industry, about what it takes to be a writer, and not much transparency about the privilege sometimes it takes to be able to do that. So anyway, right, get off my little soapbox. It is 8 o'clock. I think we should go into our next writing session. So I'm going to put my headphones back in. I am just actually, before we start that, I'm just going to go on my Be Right Back page. I'm just going to put that up on the screen while I heighten my chair back up because I am nearly sat on the floor. So bear with me just a second while I do that and then we'll come back on. There we go. Can you see how taller I am now? My head's level with the top of the cat frame, so you'll have to keep an eye on how my head changes level. Honestly, I really need a new office chair. I had a look at one today. £600 for an office chair. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd love it, but not right now. I think I'm going to have to try and get a slightly cheaper one, but one that doesn't just lower me down to the ground or make wind passing noises would be nice. Right. Sorry for the typos, phone is still learning to keep up with my typing. I was desperate to be a best-selling author by the time I was 21, but now I think I'd rather have the life experience and writing experience to be able to produce something technically better. Definitely. I think, you know, we all... Anybody who loves writing and loves reading has these kind of dreams of, you know, I will be the next kind of person who is releasing books in my 20s and, you know, have this huge kind of long career of writing, and life gets in the way. Politics, world politics, and the economy get in the way. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with having some life experience and then allowing you to write deeper, deeper narratives, you know. I always think of the guy, there's two people that I always think of in that situation. One, the guy who started KFC, who was like in his 70s when he started KFC, and then look how that became. And also not Jilly Cooper. What was her name now? Oh, gosh. Oh, her name's just completely gone out of my mind. Millie Johnson. Millie Johnson? The writer. She didn't release her first novel until she was in her mid-late 40s. And now she's a hugely successful writer. So, yeah, that's what I always think of. Never too late to start, basically, is what I'm saying. Right. Let's get into the next writing session. I'll see if I can make something of... they make plastic pieces that will keep the chair from sliding down if it's the pneumatics. Oh, thanks, Raven. I'm going to look at that. Yeah, I'm going to look into that now, because that's exactly what the problem is. The thing has gone. I shall look into that, thank you. And yeah, let's do another 20-minute session and then we'll chat again. Oh, how's everybody getting on with... I can see that the chat was going a bit then, everybody... Oh, I'm talking... Let me mute myself, sorry. I could hear myself, that was like Inception then. I could see some conversations happening around plotting out books and things. Interesting that some people like a lot of plotting. Oh, have I disturbed you? Have I disturbed you, puss? Have I? Oh, I'm sorry. Where are you going? You want to come and sit in here? Come on and sit up here. Come say hello to everybody. Don't put your pencil sharpener on the internet. Nobody wants to see that. Just said don't. Nobody needs to see your X-rated content. There we go. Come and sit down. There we go. You can't see his face because he's hidden behind the screen. But yeah, I can see everybody was saying about plotting stuff out, needing to research this later. Or if scene is going particularly poorly, do it again, suck less. Depends on the day. Oh God, I hate trying to find character names. I'm so bad at naming characters. Like my main character at the moment is called Anne, and I just don't know if she's going to end up still being called Anne in the end. I just don't know if she's an Anne as I'm writing it. But yeah, I can't name. I'm not very good at names at all. Funnily enough, though, Jeremy is such a Jeremy. Like in my book, like the person, the character of Jeremy is like so Jeremy. And Sarah, the sister, is such a Sarah. But there's just something about my main character. I don't think she's an Anne, which is interesting. I'm doing exactly that, like for names, surnames. Never thought naming characters would be so difficult. A baby name book, yeah. I was researching, like, you know, what were the most popular names in 1628, which is what my book is, the year that my book's set in. No, it's not. What did I say, 1628? It's not, it's set in 1698, I think, something like that. So yeah, I've been looking up those names. What about Anna instead of Anne? Maybe. I mean, I feel a bit mean because my mum's name's Anne. And so I'm not saying anything about you, Mum. I'm not saying any reflection on the name Anne. I think she's more of like... I don't know what kind of name she is. I can see her so, like, perfectly in my mind, and yet her name just isn't coming to me. It feels like quite like complicated name, but also not like overly flowery. I don't know, something like a Margaret or a Maggie or something like... Maggie's quite cute, but then I don't know if they'd have used Maggie. It's like Agnes Hathaway. It's such a good name, and it just fits the character and fits the time period. So, and I know Agnes Hathaway is obviously a real historical character, but it just fits her so well. I want something like that, but obviously I'm not going to use Agnes. So yeah, I got on a little bit better with the section that I was writing. I did what somebody suggested in the chat, I think it was Goth, suggested, of writing the whole thing out and just letting the scene flow and not worrying too much about getting it perfect straight away, and that really, really helped. I had a really good bit actually where I've written a line and I'm like, I really like that line. Yeah, so yeah, I'm really happy with what I did. Didn't write a lot, didn't do a lot at all, but I'm really happy with how it's gone. I need to actually, in the last session that we'll do, which we might go on to quite quickly so that we can get another 20-minute session in and then get our last chat done, I need to have a look at what I presented last time, like how much I presented, and see where the cut-off is, because I need to summarise the first section that my book club have already read. I need to summarise that so that they can jump back into the narrative at the right point, and so they kind of know what's happened. So I might do that in my next section. But yeah, I still can't remember what I was going to talk. I mean, it wasn't hugely important what I was going to talk to you about, but it was something to do with books. And I can't even remember. I've been starting to read. I made a start on The Flashlight, which is one of the first of the shortlisted books of the Women's Prize for Fiction shortlist, and I've been really enjoying that so far. I'm only about 60 pages in, so I'm not very far through at all because I was finishing off To the Lighthouse. But I've started that now. Really, really good so far. Very interesting. The main character, at this point in the book, the main character is 10 years old, and she has some things happen to her father. They think that he's died accidentally by falling off a breakwater, but she's been found near the scene of where he's disappeared. They've not found his body, so they assume that he's dead, but they've not found his body. And she's been found nearby, and then they've gone back. They were in Japan when this happened. They've gone back to America, and she's like going through therapy to try and like work out what's happened, to try and find out, because she's gone like almost mute, not quite, but like she's gone very quiet on, like she has no memory of what might have happened. But it's really good at like very slowly sowing the seeds of doubt. Like even as a 10-year-old, it's making her really unreliable as a narrator, and I really like it. I really like the way it's been written, so I'm enjoying that so far. I need to crack on with it though, because it's quite a long book, and I've obviously got like 6 books to read this month, so I need to continue on with it. What I might have to do, if I can't get through them all, is I might just try and read as much as possible of each book, just so that I really get a really good sense of the book, even if I might not be able to completely finish it, because I really want to do that video where I predict who the winner might be. I think that'd be a really cool thing to do. I heard once that going back in family history helps with finding names. I have a Theodosia in my family tree. If I decide to write a book one day, I'd definitely use that name. Yes, Theodosia, that's an excellent name. Yeah, I might have to have a look and see. I don't know if we've got family history that goes quite far back enough. But, oh, goodness me, sorry. It's been a very long day. But I'm sure I can have a look back and find some names. The difficulty is everyone was a Mary or an Elizabeth or a Jane or an Anne, or, you know, they were very common names at that time, weren't they? And I don't want to have something really, really unusual, because then that's probably less likely. But at the same time, I don't want to have something super duper popular either. It's very interesting. So yes, I am doing my video. Like I said, the video for this week is To the Lighthouse, and then next week I'm doing, let me have a quick look at my video schedule. Yeah, that's it. I've remembered now what I was going to talk to you about. I was going to talk to you about Huddersfield Literature Festival. So let's do our, what was the name time period? So the book, my book is set in, I think it's 1689 or something like that. It's 1680s is when my book's set. So I'm looking for a female main character name from like the 1680s who is... Sarah Ann is your great-grandma's name, but was always known as Sally. Yeah. So we've got Sarah and Anne in the sisters. I don't know, maybe we'll stick with Anne, but she'll have a cool nickname or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. Behind the name, we'll let you search by country of origin, which can sometimes help. But right. I might try that. Behind the name. Let me write. Oh gosh. Oh, I've started something now with my yawning. Behind the name. Right, it is 8:30. Let's go into our final 20-minute session, and then we can come back and we can have final 10 minutes. And somebody, Mum, I'm giving you a task. In 20 minutes' time, I want to talk about Huddersfield Literature Festival before we finish the live stream. If it's gone out of my brain, please remind me that that's what I want to talk to everybody about. So, yeah, let's go into the final 20-minute session. Oh, right. That was a little bit tricky. Again, that little section. I managed to... That was the chair again, not me. It's the chair. It's the chair. Yeah, I was continuing on with that little section. I think I finished the scene so far. I'm looking forward to just kind of leaving it now and moving on to the next scene, which I think I will do later. Not tonight, but later this week, maybe. Do a bit of writing over the weekend, I think. Which brings me on to, don't worry, Mum, I've remembered. I wanted to talk about Huddersfield Literature Festival. So the Literature Festival starts tomorrow on the 6th of May and it will run for about 2 weeks, is usually how long it runs for. I used to do the marketing for Huddersfield Literature Festival and so it's got a very warm place in my heart. I will be going along to a couple of the events. I'm going to be there mostly on Saturday this week. They have a launch party on Friday evening from 5 till 7. I'm going to be going along to that launch party. And then I'm actually going to be going to a few events on the Saturday. So I don't know if anybody's around, if anybody else is planning to go. It'd be lovely to kind of see people there. Send me a DM if you're planning to go to any of the events. And I'm going to be vlogging. I'm going to be vlogging the day. So I was going to just quickly get up the events that I'm going to. I'm definitely going to... One of them is... Sorry, let me just get this up in front of me. So, the events I'm going to are 3,000 Lesbians Go to York, which is a film premiere. Not a premiere, but like a film event. That is the title of a film, like a short film that was made. So I'm going to that first. I think that is... I think maybe at about 11. Have a very quick look. Yeah, that's on the Saturday, 11 till 1. So that first. And then I'm going to... So yeah, that is... Let me just read that out to you, actually, what that is about, so that you know. It is York Lesbian Arts Festival, which ran through the early 2000s, was the UK's largest and longest gathering of lesbian, bi and queer women. The film 3,000 Lesbians Go to York tells a story of the festival with contributions from leading writers and poets including Jackie Kay, Stella Duffy, Sarah Water, Val McDermid, Horse MacDonald, and there are stories from the festival founder who used to run York independent bookshop Libertas, where the idea of the festival was conceived. So I just thought it'd be really, really cool to go along to that. It's an hour and 40-minute film and then there's a Q&A afterwards. So I'm going to that first. And then I'm going to We Came by Sea, which is 2 till 3 p.m. And that is Horatio Clare, who has written a book which is about the story of migrants who are coming to England in very small boats, crossing the English Channel, the stories of rescuers that have been overwhelmed and, you know, kind of all of that kind of story. And it says that it's the book We Came by Sea bears witness to hope and humanity. It's a journey through an unexamined nation, a nation which is every bit as great and good as the people in the dinghies believe it to be. That is not the story that we have been told, but it is a true story. So that sounded really interesting. And then I'm going to Emily Bronte Reappraised as well. So this is, again, Michael Stewart, who runs the writing group that I'm part of. His wife, Dr. Claire O'Callaghan, is an Emily Bronte scholar, and she has written a new book called Emily Bronte Reappraised. So it's her book. I think she's being joined by Michael, who will be talking to her, and they'll be having a discussion about Emily Bronte. So again, thinking about the Wuthering Heights that everybody's been watching recently, I'm going to go along to that. I think it'd be a really interesting discussion. So it does say, actually, unfortunately, that the Emily Bronte Reappraised is now sold out, unfortunately. So I don't know if I have 2 tickets to that. So if anybody who's wanted to go to that and wants a ticket, let me know. I think I'll be going to it on my own, so I may have a spare ticket. So those are the 3 events that I'm going to go see on Saturday. So I'm going to be there. I'm going to be at Huddersfield Literature Festival basically from 11 until 5. Which is going to be a full day of going and enjoying literary events. I'm going to have some food. There's a really lovely sushi bar in Huddersfield that I absolutely love. So I'm going to go get some sushi for my lunch. And I'm going to go and enjoy all these events. So yeah, send me a message if you're going, if you want to have a chat about different events and stuff, and if not, I'll make a lovely little vlog for next week's video. So this week is the 100 Books 1927. Week after will be a Huddersfield Literature Festival vlog. So yeah, that's just something that I wanted to mention because we talked about it in last week. I don't know if it was Lainey or somebody asked if I was going along to Huddersfield Literature Festival. So yes, I am. So, has anybody else got anything that they wanted to ask or just have a chat about before we finish for the night? How is everybody's kind of projects, all your individual projects, your studies, your anthology writing, your plotting? How was your book going, Jill? Did you manage to get some of Catherine read and did you enjoy it? Yeah, it was you, Lenny. I'm off to see Ardalo Hanlon tomorrow, but it's the only event I could manage to get to. Yes, I remember you saying actually that you wanted to go and see that one. I really hope it's good. I think it's really popular. I think it's sold quite a lot of tickets, so I really hope you enjoy it. Yeah, everybody's looking forward to the vlog. That's cool. That's good. I'm going to have a bit of a planning session actually on content for the channel. I've got a couple of like more kind of sit down chatty, you know, like the videos that I did about why we need more plus size characters in fiction, that kind of thing, where it's more of a discussion point. I've got a couple of those videos that I want to do. I want to do one about the psychology behind escapism and why more and more people are reading at the moment and choosing books like romantasy books that offer pure escapism. So I want to look at that. And then what was the other one? Oh yeah, about classical retellings and looking at classical retellings and why classical retellings are really popular at the moment. But if there are things that you'd particularly like to see, if there's a particular style of video that I do on my channel that you would like me to do more of, or anything like that, please let me know, because obviously a lot of my views fluctuate quite a lot, and I want to create stuff that people really want to see, as well as the videos that I enjoy making. So I want it to be a balance. So Riven got a lot done. It's been delightful hanging out with you guys. It's been lovely to hang out as well. I just want to say thank you again to everybody for coming along, and everybody who's maybe watched but hasn't been involved in the chat, who's been kind of lurking or working or whatever in the background. Thank you so much for coming along to the live stream, and thank you again to everybody who is watching on demand. I do see that the video does get watched, the live stream does get watched quite a bit even after the live stream has finished. So for everybody who watches this on demand, who enjoys it later, I really hope it's useful and you're really enjoying it. And thank you very much for watching later. Don't forget to like the live stream, please, if that's okay, because that does really help to push it out. YouTube then knows that everybody likes it. And yeah, we're back again next week. Next week's a normal live stream. And what's Jill saying? Yes, I'm Kathy number 2 now, and Kathy 1 is a ghost. Interesting. Heathcliff has a backstory too. Okay, that sounds like a really interesting book. I really like that video. I actually reread Jemima J. Honestly, that book would not get published now. It really wouldn't. Although with the Ozempic, maybe it would. I've drafted a Substack post. Thanks for all your company. Oh, you're welcome, Kelly. I'm glad it's been really useful. Good to see everyone. Right. Okay. Thank you, everybody. It's 9 o'clock exactly, so let's sign off for the week. Thanks again. Huge thank you, everybody, to come in. Thanks, Mel, for coming along. Thanks, my mum, for being here, as she is every week. Both of them, Mum and Melissa, come and support every week. Huge thank you. And thanks again. So, Jill, have a lovely week away. No worries at all. You can always catch up on demand when you get back if you want. If not, we'll see you the week after. And, yeah, I'll see everybody then. So, thanks again. Take care, everyone, and yeah, I'll see you soon. Okay, bye.